Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast. We cover everything Major League, from spring training to the World Series. We've got your favorite club covered, from New York to Boston to LA. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast.
What is up? Welcome to the GSMC Baseball Podcast. It is a Monday as we come off of a nice weekend in Major League Baseball. A fun weekend. We had the Subway Series. We had Giants Nationals over the weekend. We saw a little hockey baseball crossover with the Stanley Cup winning Washington Capitals coming to that National Series over there in D.C., having some fun with their baseball team. Nationals actually did not have the most fun over the weekend. They got beat 2 out of 3 by the Giants, but they're still up there in first place in the National League East, tied with the Braves right now, virtually tied, as they're not exactly the same record, but close enough to be tied atop the National League East there. As we come off this weekend of baseball, Yankees have now taken about a half-game lead over the Red Sox. Cleveland has now carved out a 5-game lead over Detroit. Actually, surprising Detroit team, even though they're 5 games under 500, but they are in second place in the American League Central, which we love to talk about and talk a little. See, like we can get some more competition in that one, but not so much. And the American League West, there is definitely competition. The Houston has won 5 in a row, but the Seattle Mariners have also won 8 of the last 10 and have kept pace. As those teams are now virtually have the same. Well, their win percentages are so close they basically put them on tied. They haven't played the exact same amount of games, so they are virtually tied in first place. And then the Diamondbacks have won 3 in a row. They did sweep over the weekend to get back on top of the National League West. The Rockies, who were on top just last week, are now 3.5 back in fourth place behind the Giants and Dodgers, who are now tied both at 33 and 32, 2.5 back, as we now start the second full week in June. As now we're trying to get the more all-star conversations. We're probably going to be talking about that throughout the rest of this month into next month. Who's deserving of an all-star spot? Who is deserving of a starting spot on an all-star team? And all that good stuff. So let's go right into it as we're going to recap the weekend over probably these first 2 segments here. And then we're going to go in and do some Yankees talk, some AL West, some Dbacks talk, because the Dbacks, like I said, they've won 3 in a row. They've gotten back into first place in their division. Yankees, same thing. They've won 3 in a row. They did lose last night to the Mets, but the Mets avoiding New York Mets. They got to figure themselves out. They almost had a winless homestand. I think they lost 8 in a row going into that game yesterday. They did get the win over Pedro Severino, actually, and no Noah Syndergaard, as he was put on the DL. It had to be Seth Lugo, but they got the 2-0 win. The home run by Todd Frazier was all that was needed to get the win for the Mets there. As that's what we'll start, I guess. But that was a Sunday game. We're gonna go back to Friday and start there. As the Giants and the Nationals started a 3-game series in the nation's capital. Giants win 9-5 after scoring 3 times in the first 2 innings, adding on 2 more in the fourth. The Nationals tried to come back, but the Giants were able to hold them off. Scored 3 in the 7th to make it 9-5, and we get the win. Steven Strasburg came out of that game early. With some shoulder and inflammation in his shoulder, as he was actually put on the DL after that game as well for the Nationals. So a little question mark there, as they have another issue with Steven Strasburg. Seemingly, his whole career has been mired in these injuries after having to get Tommy John surgery early in his stint here in the major leagues. After all that hype coming in, but he'll figure it out. That Nationals rotation's pretty much okay, anyways. They have a couple good other arms in that rotation as well. McCutchen hit his 6th home run of the year, and Gorky Hernandez hit his 7th of the year for the Giants in that one. And then Juan Soto hit his 3rd of the year already. The rookie, the 19-year-old phenom for the Nationals, hit his 3rd home run of the year in the loss. Cubs beat the Pirates 3-1 behind a nice start from Mike Montgomery. He went 6 innings, allowed 1 run on 7 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. As the Cubs, like I said, got the win there. No homers in this game. as it was a 3-1 low-scoring affair. All runs were scored in the first 2 innings in this one. Brewers beat up on the Phillies 12-4. Ulysses Chassin gets his 5th win on the season as they beat up on Velasquez. Actually, the Phillies starter only lasted 3 2/3 innings, allowed 10 runs on 9 hits in this one as the Brewers played a bit of a home run derby. Ryan Braun hit his 7th and 8th home run of the year. Christian Yelich hit his 8th, and that was it. That was those 3 home runs in the game there for the Brewers as they get the big win there in Philadelphia to start off that series over the weekend. Blue Jays beat the Orioles at home 5-1. Jay Happ, a nice start for him as he gets that has to be his 8th win on the season. He went 7 innings, allowed only 1 unearned run, 2 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Orioles get the 5-1 win. Russell Martin, his 6th home run of the year. Randall Grichuk, his 4th, and Kevin Pillar, his 6th of the year in that one. White Sox, I think, did they sweep the Red Sox? Did they take 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox over this weekend? Yeah, they took 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox this weekend. They won the first game on Friday 1-0, beating Chris Sale. As the White Sox scored 1 run in the 4th inning, in the 7th inning, actually. Rare shutout for the Red Sox. Actually, the Yankees were the only team yet to be shut out this season. They were shut out last night in Flushing. That was their first shutout of the year. But a Trace Thompson single was the night his brother won the NBA title, the 3rd one in 4 years for the Warriors. Trace Thompson, not Klay Thompson. Trace Thompson gets the single to beat the Red Sox there in Boston. Indians beat the Tigers 4-1 behind a nice start from Trevor Bauer. He gets his 5th win of the year, lowers his ERA to a nice 2.62 as he went 8 innings, allowed 1 run on 7 hits, 1 walk, 12 strikeouts for Bauer in that one as his 4-1 win for the Indians. Jason Kipnis hit his 4th home run of the year. Marlins beat the Padres 4-0. Caleb Smith gets the win, his 5th of the year, as he had a nice shutout performance from him. 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits allowed, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Like I said, no runs as they went shutout in that one. 4-0 win for the Marlins. Yankees beat the Mets in that first game of the series 4-1 as they scored 2 in the 8th and 1 in the 9th to take the lead, and that's where they would hold it on. Jacob deGrom takes the loss as he pitched well late into that game, but got knocked down. Got marked up a little bit in that 8th inning. It was ended up being the demise of the Mets. Mariners beat the Rays 4-3. Mariners, I think that was their 20th one-run win of the year. I think they have 21 now. They did win by 1 run yesterday. They have 21 one-run wins on their 40 wins on the season. Or actually, I think they have like 43 now. 41 wins now as they got the win there in Tampa Bay 4-3. Cardinals beat the Reds late in extra innings in 10, 7-6 in Cincinnati. Astros beat the Rangers 7-3. Angels beat the Twins 4-2. Diamondbacks beat up on the Rockies 9-4. Trevor Story hit homer in the loss. So did Blackmon hit his 13th of the year. Story his 12th. Paul Goldschmidt hit his 2 home runs. He was 9th and 10th of the season. And Jake Lamb his 3rd. David Peralta his 11th, as that was a big home run derby there in Colorado on Friday. A's beat the Royals 7-2. Montas, his 3rd win of the year. He's been excellent in his the short season he started off for the A's as he's come in and pitched very nicely. Got 3 wins already on the season. A's got 2 home runs from Chris Davis, his 16th and 17th of the year. Fowler hit his 4th as well in that one as the A's got the win in the first game of that series. And then the Dodgers beat the Braves 7-3 in L.A. as they had a good series over the weekend. Yasmani Grandal hit his 10th and 11th home runs. Jock Peterson his 7th. Max Muncy hit his 10th, and Cody Bellinger hit his 12th of the season. Dodgers got a bunch of home runs over this weekend off of Braves pitching, but the Braves, like I said, they're held all right. They dropped 2 out of 3 in L.A., but they're still in first place as the Washington Nationals basically did the same thing against the Giants. As we go over to Saturday, really quickly here, but we'll go probably Sunday on the next segment here. Nationals had come back, beat the Giants 7-5 in Game 2 of that series. They get a 5-0 lead early on the rookie Derek Rodriguez. Giants scored 3 in the 3rd to try and come back a little bit, but the Nationals, just like the Giants were the day before, were able to extend their lead and make it a little more difficult to come back, and they were able to hold on there in the end of that game. Bryce Harper, I think, was the only. Bryce Harper hit his 19th of the season, and for the Giants, Nick Hundley hit his 7th of the year. In Philadelphia, the Brewers again beat up on the Phillies 12-3 was the final in this one. as Jake Arrieta takes the loss. He got kind of roughed up in this one as he went only 5 1/3 innings, allowed 4 earned runs on 4 hits, 3 walks, one homer, allowed 4 strikeouts. It was Aguilar for the Brewers that went deep off Arrieta. Jamin Choi hit his second of the year, and that was off of the reliever. Then VR hit his 5th for the Phillies. Rhys Hoskins hit his 7th of the year in a loss. It was a 12-3 loss, a pretty lopsided affair there. The Blue Jays walk off on the Orioles on Saturday in Toronto, as the Orioles just can't seem to get out of their way. It was a walk-off walk. Luke Malley drew the walk to score Justin Smoke and get the win for Toronto. Angels beat the Twins 2-1. Tyler Skaggs was excellent in this one as he pitched 7 innings, allowed 1 run on 5 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts to get his 5th win on the year, as the Twins just got enough offense. Ian Kinsler hit his 8th, Albert Pujols his 9th to win that one 2-1. Cubs beat the Pirates 2-0 behind an excellent pitching performance by John Lester. He went 7 shutout innings, allowed 1 hit, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts for Lester, as the Cubs, like I said, got the 2-0 win. The only runs were scored on a ground out by Ben Zobrist and a sacrifice fly by Anthony Rizzo, as the Cubs win without getting an RBI hit. Red Sox come back after dropping the first game, get a win at home against the White Sox, 4-2. David Price gets his 7th win on the season, as the Red Sox, they were trying to they think they were going to probably get a sweep against the lowly White Sox, but they ended up dropping 2 out of 3. They do win the middle game. Price went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs on 5 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, as Jackie Bradley Jr. hit his 3rd of the year. JD Martinez, his 21st home run of the year. That's, he did hold out for a little bit. The Red Sox and Martinez took a while to get that deal done, but now it's seeming like a great deal for Boston, as he's really produced 21 already on the season, as he's trying to extend that lead over Mookie Betts, as they were really battling it out. Teammates battling on top of the home run list. As 4-2 was the win there. In Oakland, the A's dropped this one to the Royals. They get shut out by Danny Duffy. That was a 2-0 win for Kansas City. Duffy went 7 shutout innings, allowed 3 hits, 3 walks, 10 strikeouts. Bassett was almost equally as good. It's only allowed 1 run on 3 hits and 7 innings of work, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. But the Royals were able to score another run late in that game. Alex Gordon hit his 5th home run of the year to make it 2-0, and they would win by that score. Tigers beat the Indians in walk-off fashion. 4-2 was a walk-off home run by Yamir Candelario in the bottom of the 12th inning, as they had to go to extras in this one. Great pitching in this one for both teams. Mike Fiers went 7 innings, allowed 1 run on 5 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, as he outdueled Steve Clevenger, who went 6 2/3 innings, allowed 2 runs on 4 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts as well. Went to extras, and the Tigers got the win in walk-off fashion. Padres beat the Marlins in Miami 5-4, and they scored a run in the 8th inning to take the lead there. Starlin Castro had scored a run to make that one, as it was actually the Travis Jankowski single to knock in Hunter Renfroe to take the lead there for the Padres. And this one is the Dan Chili only lasted 3 2/3 innings, but the bullpen was able to hold for the Marlins until the Padres scored there in the top of the 8th inning to take the lead there. Rays beat the Mariners 7-3, as Blake Snell gets his 8th win on the season, as he was pretty good in this one with 6 innings, allowed 2 runs, 1 earned, 7 hits, 2 walks, 1 strikeout, did give up a home run. That was to Nelson Cruz, his 12th on the season, but it did not matter, as the Rays got just enough offense or not just enough, but plenty of offense to take the lead and win 7-3. Cardinals beat the Reds in Cincinnati 6-4, as Michael Wacha gets his 8th win on the season. He's 8-1 now on the year. Cardinals got home runs from Jose Martinez, his 9th, Marcell Ozuna, his 6th, and Matt Carpenter, his 8th on the season. They win in Cincinnati 6-4. Diamondbacks beat up on the Rockies 12-7, a high-scoring affair. The Diamondbacks scored 6 runs in the 8th inning, so the Rockies were winning in that one they were winning in that one by a good amount. They were up 7-5, I think, 7-5, and the Arizona scored a run in the 7th and 6th in the 8th inning to win that one, as the Rockies bullpen continues to really, really, really struggle in that one. So, like I said, the the home runs for the Rockies. Trevor Story hit 2, is 13th and 14th. DJ LeMahieu hit his 6th of the season, but the Diamondbacks got home runs, 2 more from Paul Goldschmidt. He's 11th and 12th. He's really heating up now. Nick Ahmed hit his 9th of the season as well. And then the couple more games on the schedule here. The Astros beat the Rangers 4-3 as they scored a run in the 7th to take the lead there. Mets beat the Max actually dropped to the Yankees 4-3. The Yankees, kind of the same thing. The Yankees scored a run late, one in the 8th inning to take the lead there 4-3. And then the Braves beat the Dodgers 5-3 as they get a win for Anibal Sanchez, his 2nd on the year for Atlanta. All right, that'll wrap it up for this segment. We'll come back and do Sunday's games and then do a little talk on the AL West when we come back, so stay tuned.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
All right, welcome back to GSMC Baseball Podcast. As we're going to go over Sunday's games now, Giants and Nationals. We'll jump right into it. Giants and Nationals played the rubber match of their game on Sunday, and the Nationals had a pretty good feeling they would get away with the series win here as their ace was taking the mound. It was I was kind of talking about it before this game started. I'm like, this is probably one of the bigger mismatches, starting pitching mismatches we've seen since it was Justin Verlander versus Barry Zito in Game 1 of the 2012 World Series. I mean, at least for the Giants, that is. But it was Derek Holland against Max Scherzer, and the Giants win 2-0. As it was the Brandon Crawford 2-run homer that was the only runs in this game. Derek Holland went 5 shutout innings. The Giants got 4 no-hit innings from their bullpen. Mark Melancon went 1, Dyson, then Tony Watson, then Hunter Strickland. They each win an inning and did not allow a hit the rest of the game. As like the Giants said, Giants win 2-0 on that home run by Crawford. And Crawford actually was 4 for 4. All 4 hits, I think, were off of Scherzer. I think that maybe that's the last. He had 3 hits off Scherzer. The last one was off of the relief pitcher. But is Brandon Crawford the starting shortstop for the National League? I mean, the guy's been hitting. I mean, what they say? They flashed on the screen. It was like 450 or 455 since May 1st, something like that. I mean, he's hitting. Now he's raised his average to 338. He's hitting. That's good for 5th in the whole entire league. I think 3rd in the National League. But yeah, I think this is your starting shortstop for the National League. Is a little less of a competition in the National League. I think it was pretty much between him and Trey Turner for the Nationals. Actually, I mean, when they play on the same field, you could see how much there is a little bit of a gap there. Turner's great on the offensive side, but you get the defense as well from Crawford. But compared to the American League, obviously you got a lot of decisions to make there when it comes to shortstops in the American League. You got Francisco Lindor, Carlos Correa, even Elton Simmons is in the mix there. So I mean, lots of options. I'm probably forgetting somebody. Manny Machado plays shortstop now. Just FYI. I mean, that's the thing. Lots of different guys in the American League there regarding shortstops in the All-Star game. We're going to do a lot of All-Star game talk coming at the end of this month as we're going to get closer and closer to the Midsummer Classic that will actually be held in Washington this year, of all places. So that'll be a fun one as we'll get to that in the next few weeks. We'll definitely be doing some talk on who is going to be going to Washington for the All-Star game festivities. All right, continuing on from Wednesday, White Sox win the rubber game of their matchup with the Red Sox in Boston. So they take 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox in Boston at Fenway Park. Rick Porcello takes the loss. Ronaldo Lopez gets the win over Porcello as he allowed 2 earned runs, 3 total on 5 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. Porcello did over 6 innings of work. The White Sox got there was no homers in this game, but they got 2 runs in the top of the 9th inning to extend that lead out to 5-3 and kind of put that one away as the Red Sox only were able to score scratch across single runs in the 2nd and then in the 7th and they take the loss in that one, but they're still 22 games over 500, so not really that big of a deal. But they got to keep pace with the Yankees. Now they dropped them a half game back. Blue Jays beat up on the Orioles 13-3 as they hit a bunch of home runs in this one. Kendrick Morales hit his 5th, Curtis Granderson his 6th, Toscar Hernandez hit his 10th, and Pilar his 7th on the season for the Blue Jays as they get the win there. Trey Mancini hit his 8th, Jonathan Scope his 6th of the year for the Orioles, as they are now a Major League worst 19-45. Yet to get their 20th win of the season. Tigers drop I think that was the rematch of their series as well, 9-2 to the Indians as the bats came out to support Corey Kluber as he was excellent in this one. Kluber went 8 innings, allowed 2 runs on 5 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts. The big blemish was the home run by Leonis Martin, but it did not matter as he gets his 10th win on the season. No homers for the Indians in this one as they hit a bunch of doubles, and Jose Ramirez got a triple as well, but they scored 9 runs, including 3 in the 6th and then 3 more in the 8th to kind of blow that one open. Padres beat the Marlins 3-1 in Miami. Clayton Richard did his 5th win on the season. He beats Julio Arena, who can't. That guy. He pitches not terribly. Went 6 innings, allowed 3 runs on 6 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Gave up 1 home run. He's 1-8 on the season. Richard now is 5-6 as he went 7 innings, allowed 1 run on 2 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. The home run for the Padres was by Eric Hosmer, his 8th on the year, a 2-run shot off Arena. As they said, the Padres get the win 2-1 or 3-1 in that one as they win the series there in Miami. Mariners beat the Rays 5-4, and this one's behind James Paxton. He gets his 6th win on the season as they beat Nathan Eovaldi. Paxton went 7 innings, allowed 3 runs on 5 hits, no walks, 10 strikeouts on that one. He did allow 1 home run to C.J. Cron, his 15th on the season. Cron hitting a bunch of bombs. Nelson Cruz hit his 13th for the Mariners. Mike Zunino his 10th, and Kyle Seager hit an absolute bomb. I believe that was to take the lead for the Mariners as that game was tied 3-3, a 2-run shot for Seager off the back wall there over the bleachers in right field at Tropicana Field to make that one a 5-3 game. The Rays did get a run in the 8th to make it a little closer with a drop at 5-4. Reds beat the Cardinals 6-3. Anthony DeSclafani gets the win there. I think that was in the start. He went 5 innings, allowed 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 3 total on 10 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts for DeSclafani as he gets the win, his first of the season. He beats Carlos Martinez, actually. He only lasted 3 2/3 innings, allowed 5 runs on 4 hits, 7 walks. That was pretty much what did him in. 5 strikeouts. Martinez was having a bit of wildness in this one as he did give up those 5 runs only on 4 hits, but 7 walks in 3 2/3 innings. It was at 96 pitches pretty quickly in that one as the Reds took advantage of that one. I think even a couple bases loaded walks even happened. And this one are just bases loaded singles by the Reds to make that one pull away. All right, Phillies beat the Brewers 4-3 as they scored 3 in the bottom of the 5th inning to take that lead, one they would not give up. It was a nice pitching performance from Zach Eflin. He went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs on 3 hits, 1 walks, 9 strikeouts for the Phillies as he gets his third win on the season. He beats Woodruff as the Brewers. They're still 39-26 up on top of the American National League Central, but they dropped that one in Philadelphia. Twins beat the Angels 7-5. The Angels have been playing pretty well. I think they've won 8 of the last 10. They did drop that one to the Twins. The Angels have won 7 of the last 10. I thought they were like, well, they're still losing to the Angels, but I look at their schedule and their past wins, they're actually doing pretty well. They're getting some production, but there is news out of the Angels camp. Unfortunately, our guy that we've been talking about a lot on the show, especially we did at the beginning of the season, Shohei Ohtani, had to be put on the 10-day disabled list. That's probably more like the 15 days at least, but a grade 2 strain on his UCL, which is something that you do not want to see at all. UCL means Tommy John surgery usually. He gets the grade 2 strain, to get the evaluation. No surgery necessary now. He got a PRP and a stem cell injection. I think that was on Friday when they did that, and they placed him on the DL. He'll be reevaluated in a couple weeks. But the Twins get the win there, 7-5 behind a Romero start. He gets his third win of the season. The Twins got home runs from Logan Morrison, his 7th, Cave, his 2nd, as they scored 3 in the bottom of the 5th and 2 more in the 6th to extend that game out. Angels got home runs, or no home runs in that one, as usually, I mean, I was expecting, it's supposed to be a home run in that one, but they scored 5 in the loss there. In Chicago, the Pirates beat up on the Cubs 7-1. Ivan Nova gets his third win of the year. Kyle Hendricks was good, but the bullpen did not back him up. Hendricks went 5 innings, allowed 1 run on 3 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Did give up a home run in that one to Josh Harrison, his 3rd of the season. But when he came out, looked like it was okay. But then it was Brian Dustin who gave up 4 runs and only got 1 out. So that's how you lose that one. Ivan Nova was pretty good. Went 5 2/3 innings, allowed 1 run on 4 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts for his 3rd win on the season, and that one. And then a couple more games as the Astros beat the Rangers 8-7, and as they win, like I said, the Astros got a balk. It wasn't called a balk initially. AJ Hinch had to come out and ask the umpires about it, but it was a balk. If you look at the replay, Kalea, the pitcher, did not come set. He quick pitched and did not come set. You have to come set when there's runners on base, and he did not. The umpires called it a balk. The winning run came in to score. The manager for the Rangers got tossed. Bannister got tossed, and then the Rangers could not score a run in the bottom 9th inning. They lose as Rondon gets the save there. The Diamondbacks beat the Rockies 8-3 as they continue to roll on. They sweep the Rockies in Colorado. Diamondbacks got home runs from Kentel Marte, his 4th on the season in that one, a couple doubles, and then Paul Goldschmidt hit a triple in this one as well. They beat the Rockies, like I said, 8-3. The pitcher it was Zach Godley. He got a 6th win in the season, went 5 2/3 innings, allowed 2 runs on 5 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts for Godley, as he gets, like I said, his 6th win on the year. A's beat the Royals 3-2. Trinan gets the win in relief, as it was a Sean Manaea start. He went 7 2/3 innings, or 7 1/3 inning. He went allowed 2 runs on 6 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts for him. Matt Chapman got his 10th home run of the season, and then Salvador Perez his 11th of the season for the Royals. Like I said, the A's scored 1 in the bottom of the 8th inning to win that one on the Matt Chapman home run. Dodgers beat the Braves 7-2 as Ross Stripling gets his 5th win on the season. He's been a nice insertion into that rotation now, as he went 6 2/3 innings, allowed 2 runs on 4 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts. He did give up a couple home runs, a couple solo shots. Ozzie Albies hit his 15th and Freddie Freeman his 12th on the season. But that was not enough, as the Braves, that was only 2 runs they scored. Logan Forsythe hit his 2nd of the season for the Dodgers, Max Muncy his 12th, and then Kike Hernandez his 8th of the season for Los Angeles. And then the Mets beat the Yankees, like I said at the beginning of the show. They did beat the Yankees 2-0 on the home run by Todd Frazier. Todd Frazier got that home run in the bottom of the 5th inning. That was the ESPN game, and the Yankees were shut out for the first time on the season by Shane Lugo and the Mets bullpen, as they got the win there at home, 2-0 to stave off that losing homestand. They hadn't won a game yet on that homestand, and they get the win there at the final game of the year. Of the series for against the Yankees. They get the win 2-0 there. All right, well, that took up the whole segment, unfortunately. I mean, we did talk a little bit too much, but we're going to finish up this segment talking about this weekend. I mean, this was a great weekend in baseball, honestly. Not that much movement as far as the standings, but we had some cool series. Dodgers are playing well. They beat the first place. They're beating up on the first place Braves. They got 2 out of 3 in that one. Bunch of teams getting 2 out of 3 over the weekend. Like I said, the White Sox got 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox. Not that it matters really much to the White Sox in the division ranking standings, but it does to the Red Sox, as they, like I said, drop half game behind the Yankees. They were keeping pace with them. The Yankees were the first team to 40 wins based off of just games played. The Red Sox Yankees, I think Red Sox have 5 more games played than them at least, if I could do math correctly here. Yeah, they played 5 more games than the Yankees. As they're 44-22, the Yankees are 42-19. The Yankees still have a bunch of makeup games to play coming this season. As we did do a standing check to the beginning of the season, at the beginning of the show, the Angels have fallen 4.5 games back in the American League West as the Astros and the Mariners have kind of stretched out that lead up on top, as they are virtually tied, like I said. But they continue to just play well. The Angels, they've been playing well too, but they just can't they're playing almost the same. You got to play better, and I hope those two teams maybe hit the skids for at least a week maybe and try and get some more footing in that American League West. We're going to talk about a little more when we come back from the break, so stay tuned.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to GSMC Baseball Podcast. Third segment of the day on a Monday. We're starting off the week here. I can't come up with the right words today. Season week and all stuff. It's Monday. We're starting off the week with some talk on the American League West. We're also going to bounce over to the American League East. Do some talk on the Yankees. They did get 2 out of 3 from the Mets over the weekend in the first Subway Series of the year. Seemingly should have. The Yankees in the first 2 games made it look a little lopsided sometimes, showing that they are definitely the better team going forward. Mets had a couple leads, especially in Game 2. They had a lead that they gave up. Gleyber Torres and Miguel Andujar hit home runs. The baby Bombers put them on their back. They do still have Judge and Stanton. Remember that it was a Judge home run, I think, as well. They took the lead over the weekend for the Yankees as well. So. They're getting some good production from throughout their lineup as they have all season. The Bombers are in full effect. But over in the American League West, it is the Mariners who, even without Robinson Cano, you lose. It was almost as soon as they lost Robinson Cano. As soon as that, I think he had an injury. Then also he also got suspended for the PED use, which is great. Another one of those guys. We're seeing a couple of guys now across all different sports getting popped for PEDs. But Cano got popped, and he got suspended, and the Mariners start reeling off victories. Like I said, they're keeping pace with the Astros. Astros have won 5 in a row. I think the Seattle had a winning streak going as well. They did drop a game on Saturday, but they're 8 of the last 10. They're winning on the road. They're winning at home. They're winning close games. Like I said, they've won 20. They won their 21st one-run game on Sunday. That's the difference between making the playoffs and not making the playoffs. That's what the Mariners haven't been able to do for the last few years. They've been losing those close games, and the fact that you're winning them now is nice to get them kind of racked away. But you got to keep doing it when you're playing in a division like that in the American League West with the Astros right on your right there. The Angels are 4.5 back now, but they have the talent. Hopefully, they can get Shohei Ohtani back, but. You talk about Mike Trout and how you look at Mike Trout and his WAR and all these stats he's putting up and how his averages are just ridiculous over the last year. But you have to remind yourself, Mike Trout has played in one playoff series and they lost. One playoff series. I can get one series, just one, and they lost. One of the most underutilized players, I think. You look around. Buster Posey, 3 rings. Madison Bumgarner, 3 rings. Yeah, he's on the Giants. Red Sox have gotten a couple of championships. I mean, there's teams all over. The Royals won a championship. The Royals. The Kansas City Royals got a World Series before Mike Trout. They've won multiple series. I mean, the Mets made it to the World Series. The New York Mets made it to the World Series before Mike Trout. And you know why? Because of the pitching. Pitching. And yeah, you go out and you pursue Shohei Ohtani and you wine and dine him and you get him to sign with your team because I don't know why National League teams were even trying to go after him. He obviously was going to sign with an American League team so he can hit and pitch and not have to worry about playing the field when he hits. But now he's hurt. The question mark is his UCL sprain. That means he's not going to pitch. Is he going to hit? That's the question mark. If he's going to hit, then I would put him in the lineup every day. They put him on the DL so he can't hit. That's the thing. He's on the disabled list. So he can't hit. He's on the disabled list. And they took the roster spots so they could bring up a pitcher and have a starter in his place, even though they already had 5 starters other than him. They were in a 6-man rotation. But, they put him on the disabled list. So not only can he pitch, he can't hit either. So you're losing some production in that lineup that you have. What's he got, 4 or 5 home runs in the season? Not there now because he hurt his elbow pitching. So, yeah, you're not getting the pitching that you want. You got a great player like Mike Trout. You got a Hall of Famer in Albert Pujols, even though he's on his last few seasons probably here in the back end of his career. But he's a champion. He's won World Series with the Cardinals, multiple World Series with the Cardinals now. Mike Trout hasn't sniffed a second-round playoff series. Hasn't sniffed it. And I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. The Astros were able to use tanking or whatever we want to call it in baseball to get draft picks, and then also they made a huge trade during the season last year with Justin Verlander to get their World Series championship. Do you see the Angels doing that? I think it's ownership, honestly. Artie Moreno, he gets a lot of flack from his fans, and he probably deserves it for some of it because he's got the best player in the league by far, the best hitter in the league by far, in Mike Trout. And he got a screaming deal on him in his first few years because he was on a rookie contract and still playing really well. Then he got a hometown discount, his second contract. We're waiting on his third contract. I think that's due up in a couple of years now if I can look at the numbers for it, for Mike Trout's contract. But you're getting the best deal in the league, and you're underutilizing it. If I were Mike Trout, I'd be like, get me off this team. Yeah, you gotta love playing in Los Angeles. Gotta love living there. Anaheim's great. Go to Disneyland, have some fun. I'm kidding about Disneyland, but yeah, it's nice living in Orange County, isn't it? Probably has a nice little house right there in Marina Del Rey or right in Santa Monica. Awesome, great. Not Santa Monica, but Newport Beach area. But they can't do anything. They're 4.5 back now. They're 7 games over 500. If they had their record in a lot of different divisions, they'd be in first place. But no, they're playing. They're 37-29. They're 8 games over 500, and they're 4.5 back. The circumstances are tough, but you also are playing in a division where you had the Astros lost 103 games. They went from 103 games lost to the World Series in 3 years. The Astros have been right around 500 for the last since they won the World Series in 2002, which was when Mike Trout was 10 years old. So, it's just ridiculous how they have this guy. He was probably younger than that, actually. Well, no, because 16 years ago. So they've had this guy in Mike Trout. They've also had a Hall of Famer in Albert Pujols on their team, and they have not been able to do anything. I remember when Albert Pujols got signed, it was C.J. Wilson was the big pitcher that they got as well, but he has not been in the league for years. So, the fact that it's okay, Garrett Richards, Tyler Skaggs gets a nice little pitching here and there, but they can't beat the Astros. We'll see how they do against the Mariners. We'll have to look at their schedule coming up and see if they have any big series coming up against those two teams because they need to get those head-to-head wins. I think that's the only way that you can try and get jockey for position in this division is because all these teams are going to beat everybody else. They play in the American League, which means they're going to play the AL Central enough and the bottom half of the American League East enough to get some victories. The A's will be tough. The Rangers will not be tough, as you saw what happened over the weekend in Arlington against the Astros. They can't even get can't even get their pitcher to come set in a tie game with the runner at third. So get out of their own way. But no, the Astros aren't going away. The Mariners probably will fade away by the end of the season. That's what I'm predicting. But they're pitching. They have better pitching than the Angels. They do. I would rather take James Paxton over Garrett Richards. Yes, thank you. I'd take King Felix. That's where you're getting kind of close. But I probably still would take King Felix on a good day. And then still Miguel Gonzalez, Wade LeBlanc, Mike Leake. Boom. There's you got some lefties in there. Who's a lefty for the Angels? Jaime Barria, the rookie. He's been pitching decently, but he's like really their only lefty in that rotation. So, yeah, the Angels need to spend some money on some pitching. They've been getting some major deals from the fact that they haven't had a major contract yet with Trout. I know they did pay Pujols out a lot of money. I could say I don't want to go there on my cliches, but yeah, they paid him a lot of money in that contract. Obviously, still having to deal with that one. And who else? They got a trade. Justin Upton was in a trade. I'm trying to think who else they have that would really be that much money. I mean, the Justin Upton contract probably isn't great, but still, get some pitching. Why didn't you trade for Garrett Cole? Why'd you let the Astros get Garrett Cole in the offseason? Hello? Because the Astros tanked for 5 years and got a gajillion prospects to give to the Pirates and to give to the Tigers for Justin Verlander. Hello? I mean, come on, Angels. I'm supposed to be talking about the Yankees and Dbacks, which I probably will here because in the next segment, because we'll go over the games for Monday and Tuesday quickly. But, I mean, I'm only ranting here about the Angels because they can't get out of their own way. They can't get out of their own way. They're not making the moves. You see a team in your division win the World Series within 3 years of losing 103 games. You haven't lost 103 games any time within the past few years. I don't know the last time the Angels have lost 103 games because they're always in the middle of the pack. They're always like, oh, they're going to be kind of good. Oh, they're not that good. Oh, they're going to be great. Oh, they came back to the pack. They're mediocre. The Astros were terrible. They were the worst in the league. Got a bunch of picks, got a bunch of players, got good, made the trades to be great, and now they have a ring. Now they have a championship. The Angels have nothing. Well, at least in this era of the Angels, they'd win one. I know they won one 16 years ago. We know that in 2002 because they beat my Giants. But Giants have gotten 3 rings since then either, so we're okay with that too. We'll wipe our tears off with our World Series pennants, the 3 of them we have from the last since 2010. So Angels, you got Mike Trout, you got Albert Pujols. Yeah, I know he's on his last few legs, had some injury issues. But you have not figured out the pitching. You have yet to make a deal for a Garrett Cole type player. You've yet to make a deal for a Justin Verlander type player. You haven't been able to develop the youth in your rotation as well, like the Astros have with McCullers and Keuchel. They even went and got Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton was a mediocre, middle of the road pitcher, fourth starter for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he goes to the Astros. Yeah, he's still their 4th, 5th starter, but what's he 9-1? With a gajillion strikeouts, still throwing 97. So they were able to figure something out with that guy. I mean, the Angels would love to have Charlie Morton in their rotation. It's just, we signed Ohtani, great, yes, okay. Well, now he's injured, and what's he got, a 3.4 ERA or something like that? He's been good, but he's not been amazing. And I kind of figured he'd be like find his way into this league. I know it's his first year still. He's been setting the world on fire the first few weeks with his home runs and the nice pitching performances, but then had a blister issue. Now he's already got an elbow issue coming into this year. So Yankees and Dbacks, we'll get to you in the next segment here. I did get a little long in the tooth with the rant on the Angels because it just never ceases to amaze me how I look at the standings. Oh, they're doing great. They're in first place. They're battling with the Mariners. Okay, now it's June. With the Astros, they're battling out with the Astros, top of the division. Okay, now it's June 11th, and they're 4.5 back. Yes, they're 8 games over, which is great. Great, but you have to be better than that, almost. You have to know who your competition is. If you were that... I know, if you were 8 games over 500, you had your record in the National League West or in the Central of your division, your league, American League Central, yeah, you'd be in first place. You'd be in second place in the National League Central as well. You'd be in first place in the NL East. So, but you're not. You're in the AL West with the two really good teams. I think one is going to fade away just because of the travel does get to them. But I don't know. They're going to get Cano back, and they might just keep on rolling. So look out for the Mariners as well. Watch the Mariners win a playoff series. They haven't been in the playoffs in how long? But watch them do something before the Angels do. Just watch. I feel like it's going to happen. Even though the Angels have Mike Trout, who's already a Hall of Famer, and he's like 27. All right, we'll come back after the break with some talk on the Yankees and Dbacks briefly, and then we'll do the recap or the preview for this week. Monday, we do have a short slate, and then tomorrow as well. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Want to know the latest in soccer? Then listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. From MLS, the World Cup, and the Premier League, we've got you covered. The latest updates, the hottest matches, and news on the league's top players. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast.
David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
Listen now.
All right, welcome back, GSMC Baseball Podcast. Final segment of the day today as we start off our week here on a Monday. It is June 11th, as we are, officially for me, it's summer baseball. NBA's over, NHL's over. It is baseball only. Congratulations to the Golden State Warriors on your third championship in 4 years. Congratulations to the Washington Capitals for your first ever it was their first ever Stanley Cup trophy. You saw Alex Ovechkin holding the Stanley Cup. I don't think he's left that thing out of his sight since they were able to get that win on Thursday, beating the Vegas Golden Knights in their first inaugural season, making it to the Stanley Cup Finals, but then losing to the destined Washington Capitals in 5 games. Ovechkin was go look up those videos of Alex Ovechkin with the Stanley Cup. It's pretty funny. As even at that Washington Nationals game on Saturday, he also threw out the first pitch in that game too. So, but yeah, going over, need to say with Yankees and Diamondbacks, they are both in first place. They both hit a lot of home runs. Diamondbacks did have a little bit of a skid. They came back to the mean a little bit there, but now they're finally getting Paul Goldschmidt good. He obviously, when he goes to San Francisco, he seems to play good. When he plays the Giants, he plays good, and he's finally starting to extend that out to other cities. Now, he was in Denver over the weekend. I think did he have 2 home runs on Saturday and Sunday? Let me double check this. I think he had 2 home runs on Saturday and Sunday, as he definitely had 2 on Saturday. He had his 11th and 12th on Saturday, and then on Sunday he hit his. He didn't know. Kenton Marte had a triple on Sunday. I swear he had 2 home runs in both days because they swept the Rockies. He had 2 home runs on Friday and then 2 home runs on Saturday as well in Denver, which is great because that means he's getting elevation to the ball. And obviously in Denver you're going to get a little more carry with the mile high altitude, but he plays in a hitter's park himself. And looking at the Diamondbacks schedule coming up, obviously they just had a road trip. They were in San Francisco. They did lose 2 out of 3 in San Francisco, but looking at their schedule for this the rest of this month, they are going to be going home. So they're going to be playing the Pirates and the Mets at home. So it should be another opportunity for Goldschmidt to keep it rolling. Then they're going to head to Los Angeles to play the Angels for 2 before going to Pittsburgh for 4 and then Miami for 4. So it should be a month where the Diamondbacks should get some wins. They should reel in some wins and extend that lead out in first place, as they got the Giants and the Dodgers now on their heels, both 2.5 back at 33 and 20 or 33 and 32. The Dodgers and Diamondback and Giants. So they're not going to play another. They do come home for the Giants at the end of the month, so there'll be a good series going there after they play three city road trip before that. All right, and then the Yankees, I mean, the Yankees are going to keep rolling. Obviously, they got to keep pace with the Red Sox. I mean, they can't. Basically, if you're the Yankees, you cannot hiccup. You can't slip. You can't hiccup. Nothing. And with their baby bombers, even when Judge and Stanton aren't really hitting, or Gardner or Gregorius, you got Andujar, you got Gleyber Torres, who's got 11 home runs in the season. I mean, even Aaron Hicks, Greg Bird's back from his injury. I mean, there's players all over the place to get things done for the Yankees. And I mean, they had a good series over the weekend against the Mets. Obviously, the lowly New York Mets, who can't seem to get a win. I mean, they have the worst record in the Major League Baseball since May 1st. I think they're like 10-20. Well, they're 11-25. They got the win yesterday. But yeah, if you're the Yankees, you got to be happy with how you're playing right now. Everybody's playing well. They're getting good starts from Severino, even though he took a loss yesterday. Basically, made one mistake. They're their first. When you have your first shutout of the year on June 10th, I think you're okay with that, as they are, like I said, 42-19 in the first year for Aaron Boone. The thing is, I'm not saying it. I probably couldn't manage that team, but I could manage that team. Have you watched Little Big League? It's a movie. I know it's a movie. The kid manages the Twins, but it's the American League. There's a DH. Listen to his friend. That's what he says. You got a DH. You got good starters. You have a good bullpen. It's pretty simple. Just match them up. Lefty versus lefty, righty versus righty. It's not that difficult. Put Chapman in the ninth inning. Done. Winning. Game over. I mean, how hard is it? Oh, you're gonna put Judge in the 2-hole? Cool. Be cool like that and put Judge in the 2-hole. Okay, we'll do that. That's fine. I mean, just I could honestly, good job for Aaron Boone, but the Yankees, they can manage them. They can manage themselves. That team is just absolutely stacked, and even with the youth on that team, it's ridiculous. Seeing what they can do with the bats they have. I mean, they have Brett Gardner, they have Stanton hitting 2, Greg Bird, Sanchez, Gregorius, Hicks. They didn't have Judge, did not start that game yesterday. But in the game he did start, let's see, did he hit 2? Did he hit second? Yep, he hit second. Stanton hit third. So there you go. Just you mix up the lineup however you want. You're gonna have Stanton hit 3 behind Judge, obviously to get a little more protection than Gary Sanchez to protect Stanton. That's not bad there from Aaron Boone. But the Yankees, as far as we did look at their schedule a little bit ago, I'll take a look at it again. They're actually going to head back home to play 2 against the Nationals, which will be a fun one. Nationals obviously going to be without Steven Strasburg, as there'll be Tanner Roark tomorrow against CC Sabathia, and then they still have not announced a starter. That was going to be the Strasburg start on Wednesday. He'll miss that one, and they'll face Sonny Gray, whoever they decide to put in there in the spot start, and then they're going to keep that home series going. The Nationals for 2, Tampa Bay for 4 over the weekend, and then the Nationals actually they're going to go to Washington, like I said, really quickly for that 2-game doubleheader, one day, 2 games, and they're going to come back home for Seattle. So that'll be a fun series in New York as well next week against the Mariners. But yeah, no, I'm not really afraid of what the Yankees are going to do. I feel like they're going to get into that. It's going to be just jockeying for position. Whoever wins that American League East will likely have the best record. Then whoever doesn't win it will have the number 1 wild card, and will host the wild card game, and then probably go play that team, whoever wins the division, in the first round. So unless the Astros go on some crazy run and get the first seed anyways, but we're a long way off from that. It's June. All right, we're going to go over the games for Monday and Tuesday really quickly here, as Madison Bumgarner will make his second start of the year today in Miami. Giants and Marlins, Wei-Yin Chen against Bumgarner, who is 0-1 with that 3 ERA in his first start. Red Sox and Orioles, Dylan Bundy against Stephen Wright, the knuckleballer against Dylan Bundy, who had a nice start his last time out. Jays and Rays will go, as it's going to be Lucas Gaviglio against Yarborough for the Rays. It's actually going to get the start in this one. Usually they have a reliever go in the first inning, then have Yarborough go after that, but he'll get the start in this one. Quintana against Junior Guerra for the Cubs and the Brewers in Milwaukee. Indians, White Sox, it'll be Carlos Carrasco against Lucas Giolito. Padres and Cardinals, Jordan Lyles against Flaherty. It's not Ryan Flaherty. It's what's his name? Jack Flaherty for the Cardinals. Pirates and Diamondbacks, Musgrove against Patrick Corbin for the Diamondbacks. That's who's Joe Musgrove pitching very well for the Pirates. He's 2-1 with a 1.89 ERA. Corbin also pitching well. He's the ace of that staff for the Diamondbacks. And then the Angels and Mariners good series going on in Seattle. Let's see if the Angels can make a statement here and trying to get back in that race, as they have a chance now to try and jockey with the Mariners right now. They're 4.5 back. Can't really do it all in one series, but they can definitely try, as they'll have Andrew Heaney going against Willie LeBlanc, a battle of left-handers today. On Tuesday, it'll be Giants and Marlins again. Chris Stratton against Richards for the Marlins. That's the young right-hander Trevor Richards against another young right-hander in Chris Stratton, who's 7-3 on the season, 4.63 ERA. He's gotten some good run support, but he needs to get that ERA down a bit. He's 7-3. In Baltimore, it'll be Eduardo Rodriguez for the Red Sox, and then for the Orioles, it'll be David Hess, a right-hander, going as he has that 2-2 record, 3.07 ERA against Rodriguez, who's looking for his 8th win already on the season. Rockies travel to Philadelphia to start a series off with the Phillies. John Gray against Aaron Nola is supposed to be a good one. A pair of hard-throwing right-handers, as Nola is 7-2 with that 2.35 ERA. So look to get that one even better. Like I said, Nationals, Yankees, Roark and Sabathia. That starts off tomorrow. Twins and Tigers, Jake Odorizzi against Hardy. Jays and Rays continue. It'll be Jaime Garcia. The Rays have not announced who they're going to start yet. Probably be a reliever. And then Mets and Braves got a good series going in Atlanta. Zach Wheeler against Mike Fultonavich. Cubs Brewers, it'll be Charlo Chatwood and Chase Anderson. Indians White Sox, it'll be Plutko against James Shields. Reds and Royals, as it's the interleague series going this week. Romano against Ian Kennedy. Padres and Cardinals. Padres have not announced the starter yet, but they're going to have Miles Mikolas going against them for the Cardinals. He's 7-1 with a 2.27 ERA, pitching beautifully. Pirates and Diamondbacks will be Clay Buchholz for the Diamondbacks at home against Trevor Williams for the Pirates. Astros and A's, that'll be a cool series going. It'll be Lance McCullers Jr. against Tyler Megden in Oakland. And then Mariners and Angels. Angels have not announced a starter, as that's probably the Shohei Ohtani. Well, usually he pitches on Wednesday, but they have not announced a starter for Tuesday yet. Mike Leake will be going for the Mariners. And then Rangers and Dodgers, it'll be Bartolo Colon against a starter to be determined as well for the Dodgers, as their rotation is always seemingly to be in flux at this point. Dave Roberts doing some mixing and matching, pulling up a lot of guys from the minor leagues. They just had a guy, I think a couple guys, I had a guy last week make his major league debut for the Dodgers. But they've been playing well. I think they've had one of the better records in the league over the last 30 days. Definitely, I think they've won 16 or 17 of the last 20. So, because they are 17 or 15 or 17 of the last 25. Not that many wins. They're 7-3 in the last 10, as they did win that series against the Braves at home for another first place team. Well, not another first place team, but a first place team in themselves, as they got to win a couple of wins over the weekend against Atlanta. All right. I mean, we actually do have a few more minutes here as I do want to talk about a little more with this Yankees lineup. I mean, you can kind of do it however you want. I mean, I know it sounds a little weird. Oh, he couldn't manage the Yankees. Please. A lot of people could manage the Yankees. That team, you have a first-time ever manager in the major leagues, Aaron Boone. I was kind of questioning his hiring, but I mean, yeah, it's not that difficult. There's a lot of good buttons to push. Oh, we're just gonna sit Aaron Judge today, but we're gonna start Greg Bird. Oh, no big deal. Okay, Greg Bird will be our 3-hitter. We'll put Stanton in the 2-hole. No big deal. I mean, that lineup is absolutely just gaudy. When you're getting the numbers that you're getting out of Gleyber Torres and such, I mean, you can't go away from that. Obviously, I mean, I've got highlights going from yesterday, but no, it's just the Yankees lineup. It is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I think it's a lineup that's obviously going to strike out a lot, and obviously going to hit a lot of home runs. It's perfectly built for that joke of a. Well, their stadium isn't a joke. It's a beautiful stadium. Gotta love Yankee Stadium, but the joke of dimensions in that stadium are just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous how Judge can hit. It's a base hit. It's a single. It's a line drive single that he hits in a lot of parks, or maybe a double that just sneaks over the wall. Some of these cheapy home runs I see in Yankee Stadium. Don't get me on my soapbox at the end of the show, but the bullpen is what's going to give them the victory. And if they're going to win a World Series this year, it's going to be the bullpen and clutch home runs. yeah, that's going to do it, obviously. But they have a great bullpen. But the fact that if they're gonna lose this in the playoffs this year, it's going to be if they just have they can be kind of volatile at the plate. So if they do get in that wild card game, they'll probably be hosting it, but they're probably going to be playing a Mariners team. Well, I mean, looking at the American League wild card standings right now, it's tough to gauge. Obviously, they're going to be playing right now. They're in first place, but assuming, say, the Red Sox take the lead in the American League East, obviously they win their division, they're fine. But if they don't win the division, they're going to be the first wild card team, and you're going to be playing it could be an Angels team, which I would probably want, or a Seattle Mariners team. If you're playing the Seattle Mariners, you're going to get James Paxton, and unfortunately for James Paxton, the Yankees have a lot of right-handed hitters, and that's going to. I mean, he's probably fine against righties, but he can be very good. The guy's sort of no-hitter this year. He got a lot of strikeouts, throws hard, and he could shut down the Yankees lineup in a one-game playoff, and they could be done just like that. So I mean, or they could, if the Mariners hold off the Houston Astros. I don't think that will happen. But the American League wild card is going to be kind of weird because after Yankees, Red Sox, Astros, Mariners, Indians, it kind of drops off. Obviously, we've already done my talk on the Angels, and then the A's are actually in second place right now in the American League wild card. They're 7.5 back behind the Angels, actually the A's are technically in third place. If you bracket those first two teams up, Angels are 4.5 back of that second wild card spot. A's are 7.5 back of it right now, with the Astros in that position because the Mariners are technically in first place in the American League West just by percentage points. All right, that'll wrap it up for the show today. As we'll come back on Wednesday and do some more talk. We'll recap the games from Monday and Tuesday. We'll do talk on the hot team in the league, hot topics in the league, obviously, as we always do. Maybe I'll rant some more on the Angels. But that American League wild card is going to be kind of interesting. The wild card game, it's going to be Red Sox or Yankees at hosting whoever, and they'll probably win. But we'll see that in October. So we have a lot of wings to go there. Everybody, have a good rest of your Monday. We'll be back on Wednesday, and go enjoy some baseball. Some good games going tonight. So we'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.